We're good? Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first annual Black Health Week 2023. I'm really excited. Thank y'all so much for joining us because we put a lot of work into this. It's going to be 3 nights this week. We got physical health tonight, mental health tomorrow night, and Thursday night will be financial health. We did this for y'all, for the community, a way to learn more about yourself and more about the resources that are available right here in the community. Tonight, we are going to start off with Sergio Rodriguez from Surge Fitness. The reason we have Serge here, mostly is because Serge is very well known for being almost a robot. He's really good at fitness. He's got the meal plan thing down. He's got a strict schedule, one that I hope that he's going to tell you about. So we're going to go ahead and start with Serge on physical fitness, about the importance of having a routine, a balanced diet, and easy exercises you can do at home. All right, come on up, Serge.
Good evening, y'all. So let's start off. Obviously, Val said from Surge Fitness. So my wife, Allie, over there, we've been doing this for quite a while. So I want to start off with a few basics when it comes to fitness. Okay, so let me have y'all close your eyes real quick. Okay, now with a show of hands, how many of y'all drank water today? Raise those hands. Okay, hands down. Keep those eyes closed. How many of y'all drank more than 3 cups of water today? Okay, hands down. Now, okay, y'all can open them now. So it was about half of y'all. I'm not going to put y'all on blast, but mainly everybody over here did good. Okay, but just to kind of give you guys a little idea, of what's recommended as far as water intake goes. A lot of people don't know this, right? So it actually depends on your weight. So you need to be drinking half your body weight in ounces. Right, that's to start off. Now, if you're physically active, if you're working out, you're supposed to be drinking a little bit extra. It's actually an additional 8 ounces for every 20 minutes of exercise, right? So I'm gonna leave it at that. Just I don't want to throw too many numbers at y'all, right? But so what do y'all drink throughout the day? Just call them out. Coffee. That's the most popular one right there. Okay, so. I actually come across a lot of people that only drink coffee throughout the day. And their question to me is, well, my coffee got water. That counts, right? Nah, it's got to be straight water. Okay. And that goes for any of y'all's liquids. Okay. If you have juice, tea, coffee, whatever the case may be, it's got to be straight water. Okay. Now, another myth that I hear all the time in the fitness industry is, oh, I don't like carbs. I can't eat carbs because they're bad for you, right? Wrong. Carbs are your friend, okay? Carbs are your fuel. Now, the thing is, you got to have the right types of carbs, right? So, again, just kind of call them out. What do y'all think is considered a good carb? Oatmeal is a great one. And now, honestly, for the most part, the only bad carbs, the carbs that you want to stay away from, are processed, right? So all that stuff that you find in the frozen section, you want to stay away from that. But like me personally, and this blows people's mind when I tell them this, whether I'm trying to gain weight or trying to lose weight, I always eat rice, okay? Jasmine rice, brown rice, all of the above. I mean, any wild rice, any rice that you can think of. But again, it's all about the portion control, right? So it's also what you mix in with that. Now, one of the biggest issues when it comes to people is actually sugars. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Seems like we're all guilty of that, me included. Now, see, I'm actually really guilty of every single night. Don't tell on me, right? So close your ears to it. So every single night, I'll either have me a couple cookies, maybe a bowl of cereal, some Mexican sweetbread, but here's the thing though. The whole day I stick to my diet, so I wake up, like Valerie was kind of saying, my wife and everybody else likes to call me a robot because I stick to my specific routine every single day, right? So first thing when I wake up, start pounding water. My first meal is going to be either oatmeal or a smoothie. Okay, so those are two real easy things to do, right? You can throw your oatmeal in the microwave, eat it on the way to work. Okay, you can do a smoothie. So what I like to do with my smoothies, write it down. Okay, oatmeal, protein powder, and some veggies. I like to do spinach, celery, and cucumber. Okay, and honestly, your protein powder is going to mask all of those flavors. So whatever your protein powder tastes like, that's what your smoothie is going to taste like. Okay, so those are two real easy breakfast options, ideas. Okay, next meal on the list is going to be chicken and jasmine rice. Yes, ma'am. I like to do water just because I typically do it at the gym, but you can do almond milk. And honestly, lately I've been doing regular milk more than almond milk. Okay, I personally like whole milk, and it's a little bit higher in fat, but whenever you're sticking to your diet for the rest of the day, it's not going to make much of a difference. Now don't quote me on this, but a glass of milk is probably going to be like 5 or 6 grams of fat, which is not bad at all. Okay, but honestly, any liquid is going to be fine. Because we're talking about a very minute amount of liquid. You're probably going to have 8 ounces. Okay. But another little trick when it comes to the chicken and rice, my wife actually does some breaded chicken in the air fryer. Game changer. Game changer. Because it makes you feel like you're cheating. It makes you feel like you're having golden chicken. If it don't, you ain't cooking it right. I'll have Alec do some cooking lessons. But I'm serious. It tastes like you're cheating when you're not. You know what I mean? It's going to be very, very low in fat. You're only going to get a little bit extra carb from the breading, but that's it. It's actually fairly simple. Next meal that always throws people off as well. I like to do ground beef, and it's lean as well. You're going to have a little bit of fat, but other than that, it's very high in protein. And then I like to mix that in with some black beans and some rice. Again, it kind of tastes like you're cheating. I like to think of it like a Chipotle bowl. So that's how I convince myself, and it makes it more enjoyable, because people think that dieting has to be boring. People think that it's going to be bland chicken, bland rice. That's not the case. We season our food however we please, and she'll mix it up for me here and there when I get tired of something, but you can season it however you like. It doesn't have to be boring. The most important thing is that you're having the right amount of the proper foods. That's the main thing. Okay. So dieting doesn't have to be boring. And then, like I said, I have those boring meals throughout the day. That way at night, I can treat myself to a little something. Before I used to do Rice Krispies. You name it. I have a terrible sweet tooth. My wife would tell you, I have a terrible sweet tooth. Girl Scout cookies. Yep. She's the culprit that brings them to me too. But you don't have to feel guilty about having those little guilty pleasures at night whenever you're sticking to your diet throughout the first half of the day, or the main part of the day, right? Now let's see. Something else that people have a bad taste for, or a misconception, is that diet and exercise has to be done in the gym. That's not the case whatsoever. Y'all remember when COVID started, right? Now, thankfully, I was blessed to have a home gym, but what my wife and I actually did, we were doing Zoom and Facebook Live videos of just body weight exercises, just to show people that you can do anything and accomplish anything that you want or need to with just your own person. You don't need all that fancy equipment. Now, all that fancy equipment is nice because you get to do a lot extra, right? You get to push your limits a little bit more, but calisthenics are one of the best forms of exercise. So just doing simple squats, just standing in place, doing squats, doing push-ups, jumping, just moving in general, even just walking, that's going to be fantastic for you. Okay. Y'all got any questions for me as far as that goes with the exercise? No? Okay. So let me get a show of hands. How many of y'all do exercise? That's actually a great amount. Okay. So do y'all exercise in the gym? Do y'all just at home? Yeah. So what's one of your favorite movements? You dance. Okay. Okay. So I know you're ready for about to get back to Zoom with it, huh? Okay. But yeah, like I said, diet and exercise isn't just one. It's not just one size fits all. You know, there's so many different diets. Whatever works for you, do it. Same thing with exercise. You know, there's powerlifting, bodybuilding, CrossFit. I mean, strongman. You name it. You know, whatever works for you, do it. Okay. You know, people tend to think that you got to fit that mold. That's not how it works. So many hundreds of different ways to go about exercise. You know, you just got to find what works for you. Okay. Someone that's going to push you. Someone that's going to call you out on your crap. You know, because we all have those days where we're feeling lazy. We don't want to do it. Just want to say. Where we're feeling lazy and, you know, you need that extra kick in the butt, you know, and we all need that. You know, there's days where I don't feel like working out. You know, people think that just because I'm a personal trainer, I just wake up ready to go every day. You know, that's not the case. But having my clients that rely on me pushes me, makes me be better, you know, and they don't even realize that, but it does. All of my clients push me to be better, push me to want to push them, you know, so you need somebody like that in your life, whether it's just a friend, somebody that you can just call and text like, oh man, you know, I'm not feeling it today. Maybe I'll just stay in. Well, you're going to have that friend to get after you and be like, well, do you want it or not? Are these goals that you set worth it? Are they not worth it? That's something that's going to take a little bit of self-reflection, but like I said, at the same time, you do need that kick in the butt. You know, ma'am, did you have?
Yeah. So what about if you have like a minimum, what is the, like to minimize the weight for your joints? If you like have if you have like something that's bothering you, what's the proper technique or what is the easiest on your joints, would you say, for exercise?
So that's going to be, that's kind of vague because it depends on what body part you're referring to, right? But the first thing that I tell everybody to do, and Val will vouch for this because we did this whenever she first came to me. The first thing that I tell everybody, stretch. That is the most important part of fitness and one of the most overlooked parts of fitness. And, you know, people are so ready to exercise sometimes that they just go in the gym and they start lifting weights nonstop, lifting. But a tight muscle cannot grow. Not only that, you're not going to have the same range of motion. Your body's not going to function how it's built to function, how it's made to function, you know? So stretching is number one, okay? Now, I saw you kind of pointing to your arm, right? So what's wrong with your arm? Because you were saying you can't have high impact, you know? Now, well, to simplify, right? Let's say a push-up. You can't do a push-up on the floor, right? Now let's look at this table right here or a chair at home, whatever the case may be. You can just lean up against that. You know, that way you're not having to support your whole body weight, but you can slowly work your way down to where you can do a regular push-up, you know? Because doing it on an incline, I mean, you're going to eliminate half to probably 3/4 of your body weight. And then, like I said, once you get stronger, then you go from that table down to this chair. Then you go from that chair down to the floor. Okay. Progressions is another very important part of fitness. You know, I used to work at a box gym, and I used to see people come in there first day in the gym, and they're trying every single machine that's in the gym, staying in there for hours at a time. And guess how long I saw them? No, I mean, we're laughing, but it's true, you know, because people try to do too much too fast, you know. So like I said, you see them do every single machine, trying every single piece of equipment. They'd be in there for 2 hours on the first day. You'd see them maybe a week and then never again, because they're so sore, they're so miserable that they don't want to put their body through that again. You know, so progressions are key, just like a baby. You know, you got to crawl before you walk before you run. Same thing goes for us. You know, we just get so hard-headed because we want results like this. You know, we want results to happen overnight. It's not going to happen either. You know, we got to be realistic with our goals. We got to be realistic with our approach with fitness. You know? Yes, ma'am. I got an answer.
I'm curious. How much do you bench press?
A lot. Now, I bench quite a bit. I bench 375. Thank you. You made my night. Y'all got any more good questions like that for me?
What is your opinion on using resistance bands?
Oh, they're the best. Oh, they're the best. If you walk in our facility, you're gonna find resistance bands all over the place. That actually kind of goes hand in hand with your question, because you were asking about low impact stuff. Resistance bands are a way to do that without really putting your body through the heavy load and stress that you would otherwise with free weights or any other kind of resistance training. Because, like, for example, and I wish I would have brought a band to show you guys, but you know, the bands, they elongate as you're doing the movement, right? So let's say we're doing a squat. I got the band wrapped around me. Whenever I'm at the bottom of the squat, there's not going to be much tension, right? But as I stand up, it's going to get tighter and tighter. Now, that's actually one of the best and safest ways to go about fitness, because, like I said, you're not putting your body under that duress, but you're still getting all that resistance from the bands. So yes, and that's an extremely cheap piece of equipment. I mean, you can go on Amazon and buy a set of bands for $10 to $20, you know, and like I said, that's a set. So you're going to have progressions when it comes to that. Also, you're going to have your light band, medium band, heavy band, you know, and again, you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on equipment, no dumbbells. You're not going to have mess laying around. Throw a little hook on your door. There's your bands. Bam. You know, and you can get big loop bands to help you with like weightlifting, squats and stuff like that. But you can also get what are called booty bands, where you just put around your legs. And that's another really important part of fitness that people overlook, especially the fellas, you know, because the fellas tend to think, oh, well, booty, that's for the girls. We don't want to do that. Let's do some push-ups. Let's do some curls, you know. But the butt is one of the most important muscles in the body. The glutes are actually the biggest muscle in the body. And a lot of people don't know that either. You know, if you don't have strong glutes, that's why you see a lot of people walk like this. Okay? It's because they don't have the glutes strong enough to support their upper body. And see, your body, it works just like kind of like a domino effect. You know, it all starts from the bottom. So if you're wearing bad shoes, if you got bad feet, it's going to travel up to your knees. Then it's going to travel up to the hips. One of the main issues is that people, like I said, don't have strong glutes. So then they start leaning over, and that's what starts to cause the back pain, because now your lower back is having to support the rest of your torso and head, right? Then you're going to start causing neck problems, and then you're going to be slouching, right? So, like I said, even something as simple as your shoes are going to make a huge difference, okay? Now, I've done a lot of corrective exercise courses, and they all start off by saying you need flat shoes. Okay. Now I have people that want to argue with me about this all day long. Oh, well, I have high arches. I need arch support. No, you don't. Okay. If you start conditioning your feet to having a flat base, even barefoot, being barefoot is one of the best things that you can do for your body. And there's actually been a lot of people coming out nowadays that actually work out barefoot because of that. Now, honestly, I don't advise people to work out barefoot, just because you're not really going to be barefoot in your regular life, right? You're going to have shoes on, but have something as flat as possible. Now, obviously, the best thing on the market is going to be like a lifting shoe, right? But if you want to go down a cheaper route, even just wearing Vans, you know, Converse, stuff like that, anything flat is going to be the best thing that you can do for your body. And it's, like I said, very simple. Again, people just overcomplicate fitness. You know, they think you need all this expensive stuff. That's not the case at all. Do you have a question for me, man? Okay.
Y'all was talking about exercises like with pain.
Mhm.
What about like if you have arthritis? I have arthritis in my knees, and it's hard for me to walk. You know, I say it's hard to walk, but you know, and do exercises. So is there anything that you can do?
Absolutely. Now, as far as arthritis goes, it really depends on how long you've been living with it, what you've been doing for it. But again, that kind of goes back to the stretching. Okay. I'm gonna use Val again for an example. Whenever she first came to me, she could barely bend her knees whenever we were doing lunges, you know? So we got to stretching, and you had knee pain for quite a while, you know? I mean, it took a while for us to get rid of that pain, but constant stretching is going to be one of the best things that you can do. Now, another thing that's going to help you is resistance training, okay? Because the stronger that you have all of those muscles around the knee, the safer, the more sturdy you're going to feel. Okay. Now, also, it might help to work on that bone density. And again, the only way to build bone density is through resistance training. There is nothing else that you can do for bone density. And as we age, that's the thing that starts to deteriorate. So I'm not sure if that answers your question. So, you know, there's a lot of people that say you can't get rid of arthritis, but it kind of depends on who you ask, you know, because, for example, I had tendonitis for the longest time. Every doctor that I asked, every person that I encountered that had tendonitis said, nothing you can do. Okay, nothing you can do. You just got to live with it. You got to take anti-inflammatories. And I said, well, I'm not going to be taking anti-inflammatories every single day to get rid of this elbow pain, right? Because it was unbearable. I had to wear a brace if I did anything requiring grip. Killed my hands. Well, I went to Dr. Hollis here in town. He's the chiropractor right off 95. And he actually told me, well, he said, just stretch that tricep. I don't know why I never thought about that. I stretch all the time, you know, something so simple. But until he said it, it didn't really click, didn't really register. I started foam rolling that, tendonitis completely gone. And like I said, before that, every doctor that I asked said, there's nothing you can do, you know? So again, it kind of depends on who you ask, but a lot of it's just trial and error, you know? But like I said, what I would suggest for you, start stretching, start trying to do a little bit of resistance training, and then go from there, see how your body feels after that. Anybody else? Any other questions for me? No? Okay. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Okay, and so I actually did not introduce myself. My name is Valerie Nevejas. I'm with Grayson Real Estate Group. And Serge is actually my personal trainer that I went to in the summer of 2021. When I first started with him, I did not take my workout seriously enough to the fact that he was going to fire me. Even though I paid him, he was going to fire me because I wasn't following the diet the way I was supposed to. And he's also a therapist as well. With that being said, we're going to move on to Terry Williams, and she's going to talk about self-care through sound and music. A lot of people, myself, we go, and we don't stop. So I'm working, I'm training with Serge. I'm never stopping to just give my brain time to just relax. And so what Terry is going to do is she's going to show us how to do some self-care with sound and music and meditation. We did this one time and I fell asleep. Don't fall asleep. All right. All right, y'all. Terry Williams.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm loud. I'm from the country. So as Val said, my name is Terry Williams. I'm the owner and operator of the Melanated Apothecary, located right here in Eldon, Texas. I am skincare and wellness studio. I'm also a yoga instructor and a sound therapist. So what I like to do is I help people relax. So Serge is also my personal trainer. So that's why I'm sitting, because I can't walk, because we use resistance bands today. But yeah, so I started in self-care in 2013 because I was on the verge of having a stroke. It was a couple of days for my birthday. We were getting ready to go to a family reunion. I'm 41, so this was 2013. So I was very early 30s. We were on our way to a family reunion, and I kept complaining to my mother that I had a headache. Now, this was a complaint that I had had for months, and it was just the exact same thing. And there were a couple of days where I just couldn't move. One day I had to go to the doctor. It took me a while to actually get up off the floor because I was on the floor wrapped up in my blanket. My head was killing me. They never checked my blood pressure or anything when I went to the doctor. I don't know why. But we went to the family reunion. I don't remember the trip there. I don't remember being there. I don't remember the ride back home. And I told my mom and my aunt, I do not feel well. My head hurts. And so my aunt checked my blood pressure, and it was 200/100. And it stayed that way for the entire weekend. Asked Valerie, we worked together, and I called into work. And I went to, this was Saturday, I called out Sunday, Monday I went to the doctor, and it was still 200/190. And she asked me, how did I walk in? I said, oh, I was great, I drove. But that just led me down to being just overall holistic and self-care. I do not watch what I eat. I'm not gonna lie. You already know this. So, but I do try to take the best care that I can of myself, and that includes my self-care. And I'm very big in self-care. Valerie has to tell me to bring it down a little bit because sometimes I get a little too detailed. And yeah, so sound therapy. Sound therapy is one of the ways that I like to help people relax. I put them in my facials. It's quiet, it's calming. When you drive in your car, you're listening to music. I wake up in the morning, I'm listening to music. It puts you in a very happy state. It uplifts you. It helps reduce stress. It can help you sleep at night. It helps you creatively. Even when you are working out, you're in the gym. I always tell Serge, I need you to put something on. If you're about to kill me, I need to be able to, die effectively. So I need my music. So I brought all of my toys, my sound toys. I was taking them all out. The pastor was like, "Oh wow, you got a lot of stuff." I said, "We are a family of percussionists." I have a 7-year-old. He started playing the drums when he was 3. He's now in a small band and he takes drum lessons. So, so we are a family of percussionists. So these are my crystal bowls. I don't know if you can see them. I was going to put them out in the middle, but I didn't want anybody to knock them over. They're made of 100% crystal quartz, and they are frosted. So they are all tuned to 432 megahertz, which is the sound in which our bodies function. Each bowl is attuned to one of the 7 chakras in the body. And those 7 chakras start from the ground and they go up. So you have your root, you have your sacral, you have your heart, your crown, your throat chakra. These are all things that can bring you out of alignment with yourself. So whenever you are feeling off, you're feeling a little, I like to call it wabi-sabi, you're feeling a little off center, it could be like you have one of those things that are out of alignment. And so a lot of people, they go to sound therapists, they go to sound healers, they listen to music. I personally have a person that I go to for my sound healing whenever I'm feeling out of balance, and they can be played in a myriad of ways. There's bowls, there's rain drums, chimes, crystal chalices, there's the big hands. My son has a little tiny tongue groove, just like the flips of the steel drums. Oh, there's just so much. They can be played individually. They can be played on you. So something like this, I could take in a service, or I can take in a facial, and I can set this bow directly on your chest. I can set it above your head. I can set it on your stomach, just wherever you're feeling heaviness. This is where I would place you. I had it wrote on here, but I erased it off. But I want to say that this is tuned to the PhD. These are all set differently. This is C, this is D, E, F, this one is G, A, and H. That B, A. So they all play at different sounds. So I'm going to play, I don't have a lot to play. I'm just going to play, mostly bring you guys, and then answer any questions that you And these are considered singing bowls. So right now I'm just striking them, but I can also make them sing. my backpack. They ride in my pocket. Julius carries them. Like everybody that's close to me, I've given them a stone of some sort. So a lot of people like to write affirmations or love notes to themselves that they want to help them through the day, and they will set them in these bowls because, as I said before, these bowls are each individually tuned to a chakra, which is, the body. Even drinking water. Some people will put water in these bowls or flowers, and they'll use that water to drink throughout the day. This one's my favorite right here. Every time I see Valley Madison on that one, it's like it's gonna break, and I'm like, don't say that. So this one has a deeper and richer sound than the other bowls. And I would not use a rubber mallet on this one because this one is a finer crystal than the other bowls. So when you're singing a bowl like this, you would want a felt wand. And this sound will go longer than the other bowls. And so a lot of times, even if I am standing on the other side of the room in my studio, a lot of people can feel this one in their heart. And so that lets me know that they've got something that they need to let go of. And even as I sit this one down, it will still play on its own. So this one is a Tibetan singing bowl, and this one is actually made in Tibet. It's hammered 100% steel by a craftsman in that region. You can buy them on Amazon, but there's no guarantee that you are getting an authentically hammered and made bowl. So you want to be careful, even with the singing bowls here, if you see them extremely cheap online, more than likely they're made with a lesser quality material. And I like to name this one after my mom, because sometimes it gives me trouble when I play it. Y'all can tell her, she already knows. So this one has a deeper sound than the other bowls. This would be a bowl that you would use to start your meditation. I always encourage people to meditate, especially early in the morning. It's what helps get your day going. It helps set the tone for the day. It helps you align with what you hope to accomplish in the day. A lot of people think that they have to sit down and meditate for 30 minutes to an hour. Don't do it. It's not gonna work. You ain't got that kind of time. Like, you're gonna get 2 minutes in and already you're done with your motivation for the day. So I like to encourage people to start anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes. Even the same with sound therapy. Some people can tolerate an hour. Some people can only tolerate 2 minutes. So I ask people when they sign up for sound therapy, like, what is your allotted time? How long do you think that you can sit still? Because sitting still is one of the hardest things for people to do. I am a yoga instructor, and whenever we get to the end of class, I have everybody in the last pose says it's savasana. Nobody can sit still for 2 minutes. I see people breathing heavily. I'll see people go. They're fidgeted, their arms are moving. Because we are a go, 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 go type of, species. You're on the go 24/7, and it's hard for people to settle down and relax. So like I said, this would be a goal that I would start with my meditations, and I would end with my meditations. The same with my facials. I would sometimes start with this, or I would start with some breathing treatments, because settling down and relaxing into our bodies is one of the best things that we can do for our overall health. I mean, unless you just like to rage out, then if that's what you do, if that's what helps you settle, by all means, rage out. And I have to hold this. Let's see if I can hold this. My overall goal in life is to get a gong, because that's another sound instrument that can help with meditation, that can help with sound therapy, that can help with your self-care, it'll mellow you out, it's good for stress, even headaches. Some people think that sound can even cause the headaches to be worse, but a lot of that is just tension and stress. So if you have something that's going to be calm and meditative, then that tension, that headache will start to dissipate. I like to let the go so you just sit down and the vibration is like that. And so it's still vibrating, it's still going, so I will set it down until it's done. Okay, so I'm ready up. Like I said, I worked out today, so please don't laugh at me when you see me struggling to get up. Plus, I don't want to kick. And all my bones are tired. So this can be used to different ways. There's a wave drum, and you can also use a better wave drum because of the material. I suggest that you do not do this if you train to go to the bathroom first, because it sounds like a wave. You're gonna see. Excuse me, excuse me. So she asked me when I called her. So I did a sound retreat, which is where I did my training last summer. And I called my sound and she did a facial from me not too long ago. And she brought all of this stuff. She was like, oh, well, this is the last one. And I'm probably. So I called my family. Close your eyes. Sit up nice and tall. Relax the shoulders. Take a nice deep breath in. Breathing in through the nose, down through the mouth. Let the shoulders hang low. Release the tongue, release the mouth. Thinking about how we want to include self-care in our everyday journey. How can we take care of ourselves? What can we do with it each day? How we see ourselves, how we see ourselves.
All right, now, oh, sorry, that was gonna ask.
Questions, comments? Yes, ma'am. Oh.
It's hard for me to relax. To sleep until 2:30 or something. I seem like my body just can't line it. Y'all are usually why would you do such things? Why?
if you have it on the peak, set it to where it will turn off. Don't do any social media. Don't do anything that's going to activate your system. That's going to activate your nervous system. You want to be calm, you want to be cool, you want to be collected. So I'm not going to give big technical terms. So you want to calm down your nervous sympathetic nervous system, PNS. So use that song, use those 3 minutes, set you up a little altar, things are going to help you relax, and use that for you. Also drink.
Okay, I had a question, because it sounded good and it had me going. How much typically is your session? You could just give me a rough estimate.
So I do donation based. When it comes to sound and when it comes to self-care, Valerie can attest to you. If you come to me and you tell me, Terry, I really want to do some things, I need to settle down and slow down, I will take you no charge. Because first and foremost, I want you to be well. I want you to relax. The sidebar, I had a conversation the other day with another family member who typically was the same thing. They're like, I can't afford to come and see you. And I was like, well, why not? And she was like, well, because I don't have money. I was like, well, that got to do with the price of any time. I was like, if you need help, I'm here to help. So, whatever you give me, I'll take. Even if you bring me like a 2-piece from churches, I'll take it. Because I like to eat. I like to eat. So, yeah.
And then, thank you for that. And then also too, what's your range? Do you do little kids, toddlers, adolescents?
So, I do it all. Like I said, I have a 7-year-old. Valerie knows Julius is very bougie. He's got so like I said, I dabble in self-care. I'm also an herbalist. So I'm a trained herbalist. So I study herbalism as well. So he's got to have his sleep eye pillow. He's got to have his sleep eye pillow. I have sage that sits on our table. Some days when he really is not feeling himself, feels him and can't, I put the smoke on him. And so I'm like, okay. So which lets me know that he's got something going on. So I need to sage him and help him, do better. He's like, okay, what's the So I take all ages. I work with all ages. I have a 7-year-old who's bougie. Yeah. Like I said, he does his own thing. He's also into sound as well. So he has his own little drum set that he likes to play. Not only his big drum set, but he has another little thing that he likes to play that helps him with sound, help him kind of memorize. So I think So I'm right here in Elgin. I'm also Roy Davis Road, 127 Roy Davis Road. So if you're going out towards McDade, that flashing light, they just put that brand new flashing light right there. If you take a left there, I'm in the industrial building there. And I'm the melanated apothecary. You can find me Facebook, Instagram, and you can text me. I'm working on a stress and adaptogen and one of powders, teas, and sea moss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. I'll be here to the end of the day, so just talk to me and to the end of the day. So I'm here. How do you know these things?
She took my question. Now I gotta get that appointment before she gets. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit at the end because it was gonna be Luann and then everybody's, favorite nurse practitioner, Miss Lacey Lundgren. Lacey's gonna be In the back, she's doing blood screenings, and her mama's back there, Rhonda, she's back there, and she's with Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. She's also in the back as well. I'm gonna have Lacey come and talk a little bit, just because she's gonna be in the back, so that once, we're gonna let Luann speak, and after that, you can run in there and get your blood screening and talk to Rhonda. You're gonna love Rhonda when you see Rhonda. You know what I'm talking about. All right, come on up, Lacey.
Good evening. My name is Lacey Lundgren, and I am a nurse practitioner. I've been a nurse practitioner for 9 years and a nurse for 16 years. I spent 5 years at the community center here in Elgin doing family practice. In the last couple years, I've specialized in addiction medicine. So I help people that are addicted to opiates, alcohol, things like that. And Val asked me to come today to talk about high blood pressure. Hypertension, checking your blood pressure, stuff like that. So I'm actually going to be doing blood pressure checks in the back, and I can give you a copy of your blood pressure reading. That way you can show it to your doctor. And just kind of quickly, I'm going to cover what a healthy blood pressure looks like. So normal blood pressure readings, we want your blood pressure 120/80. Okay, that's considered normal. 120 to 129. There's a systolic number is your top number, and diastolic's your bottom number. So what's considered elevated is 120 to 129 on the top and over 80 on the bottom. Okay, and then we get into stage 1 hypertension, stage 2 hypertension, and then a hypertensive crisis. All right. So stage 1 is when that top number is running in the 130s. So 130 to 139, and your bottom number's 80 to 89. Okay, that's considered stage 1 high blood pressure. Stage 2 is 140 or higher on the top and 90 or higher on the bottom. And then what's considered hypertensive crisis means get to the emergency room or at least call your doctor, is when your top number is over 180, and then if your bottom number is over 120. So an important thing to think about with high blood pressure, it's commonly known as a silent killer. I have patients come into my clinic all the time where they walk in, they feel fine, and the medical assistant checks their blood pressure and it's 210/130, and I'm like, man, are you okay? How's it? Are you all right? Are you having chest pain or anything? And they're like, no, I feel fine, because the body gets adjusted to running at those high numbers. Okay. But what it's doing is it's damaging your blood vessels, your heart. It's doing damage over time. Okay. And so there's different interventions and things that we can do to get that blood pressure under control. Because if we don't, then we damage your heart, we damage your kidneys, and you can end up with a heart attack, end up with a stroke, things like that. So it's real important that if you have high blood pressure, that you catch it and that you start the medications, start the interventions as quick as possible to prevent that long-term damage. So some symptoms of high blood pressure that patients, sometimes you don't feel anything. And then sometimes when your blood pressure is high, you can feel headache, you can feel dizziness, you can feel a lot of fatigue. You can feel like you don't have much energy. And then sometimes patients experience chest pain. So what do we do about it? So one of the best things you can do is exercise, right? So 30 minutes of walking 5 days a week. Physical activity, getting up, moving. Another thing you can do is weight loss. Keep your weight in a healthy BMI, a healthy weight range. Lots of times patients change their diet and they lose weight, and then they can actually come off their blood pressure medication. So those are two things. Stress, just like what she was mentioning earlier, keep your stress levels under control. Self-care, meditation, things like that, because your mind affects everything, right? And your mood and all that, it's also interrelated. And then if those interventions aren't effective, then, we start with the medications. And it's not saying that, if you get on blood pressure medication, you have to be on it the rest of your life. Then you can start the interventions, and then have a lot of patients that are able to come off of it. But there's lots of different blood pressure blood pressure pills and things. And most patients they feel completely fine. And a lot of patients, when they get on it and we get their blood pressure under control, they're like, man, I feel a lot better. I have more energy. I'm waking up, I'm sleeping better. I'm waking up in the morning, I'm feeling better. And so it's kind of one of those things that they didn't even know anything was wrong until we fix it. And then they look back and they're like, yeah, for the last couple of years, I've been dragging. I just haven't had, any get up and go. So those are some of the interventions. And then there's something called a DASH diet that we recommend with high blood pressure. And it's what you basically think of as a healthy diet, right? Limit your sugar intake. You want your fruits, you want your vegetables, you want your healthy proteins, lean meats, chicken, fish. When you do your hamburger meat, get the 93.7 hamburger meat, things like that. And that's going to help with your blood pressure. And then it's also going to help, prevent things like diabetes and high cholesterol. And then another really important thing, if you have high blood pressure, is to limit your sodium intake, right? So we all all the seasonings and the salts and stuff like that. But there's different substitutes that we can use, like Miss Dash is one of them that's low sodium. You can buy canned goods is a sneaky one because a lot of people don't know that some of those canned goods are loaded with sodium. So you can, if you look on the shelves, you can actually find where they're light, low sodium, things like that. So there's little things that you can do, little diet modifications and things that you can start doing to help with decrease the sodium intake in your diet. So so that's all that I have for you guys. And then I'll be set up in the back. If anybody wants to come get their blood pressure checked, I'm going to be doing manual blood pressure. Now, one other thing I do want to tell you, if you do start monitoring your blood pressure, do not get a wrist cuff. All right. They are not accurate at all. They're maybe a little bit cheaper than the arm cuff, but they are not accurate. So if you're going to invest in a blood pressure machine, be sure you get the full arm cuff that goes up on the arm, not the one on the wrist. But tonight I'll be doing free blood pressure checks in the back. So if anybody wants to have their blood pressure checked, I can check it for you and write it down for you. And then hopefully it's good. And then if not, that's something that you can talk to your doctor about. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, awesome. I will see you guys in the back.
Okay, so we've covered exercise with Serge. We've covered sound therapy for stress. We've covered blood pressure with Lacey. Now, what happens when your loved one can't take care of yourself? Right? So next up I have coming up is Miss Luann James, and she's going to come and talk about home health. Okay?
So how many of y'all have seen the purple car with the blue flowers? That's me. That's me. My business partner and I opened a home personal care agency. It's called Lutra. And people are like, where did you get that name from? Well, L-U is Luann and T-R-A is Tracy. That's how we came up with, because all the other names that we liked were taken. So we had to make up one. So in talking about home health, there are two kinds of home health. There's skilled home health. That's like nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy that comes into your home. Insurance pays a percentage of that. Medicare pays 100% of that. Okay, so that's one kind of home health. The other kind of home health is personal care. And personal care is what I like to say, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, we'll do it. You know, it includes helping people bathe, helping people dress, cleaning their house, going to the grocery store for them, cooking for them, being their companion, just whatever they need to be able to stay at home safe. And that is what my company does. We do personal care. When I ruled the world, personal care will be paid for by insurance. But until that time, it's self-pay. Or long-term, if you have long-term care insurance, if you were brilliant enough to do that when you were younger, more power to you. Because now that we're a little more mature, we can't afford it. So let's see what else. My company has, we do a 4-hour minimum a day, but we do not have a minimum number of days. We try to do what you need without doing too much or too little. Like we have one lady that she can't drive anymore, but otherwise she's fine. So we take her to the grocery store, to the doctor to get her hair fixed once a week. That's all she needs, you know, so we don't need to do any more than that. And then we have people that we stay with 24/7. So pick your time. I mean, we go anywhere in that space. I wanted to ask you something about safety in your home. Okay. How many of y'all have those cute little rugs all over your house? No more. If you ever have therapy coming into your house, the first thing they're going to tell you is take up the rugs, because that's what you're going to fall over. Okay. And I know. I've had that rug there for 10 years. It is fine. It is not. Because the first time you trip over it and you break your hip, you're going to be like, I should have listened to Luann. She told me to pick up that rug. Okay. What do you think is the room that people fall in the most? Bathroom. Why is that? Because, number one, when do you usually go to the bathroom and you're in a hurry? In the middle of the night. So instead of sitting on the side of the bed and getting your bearings, you know, you're like up. And as soon as you go up, your blood pressure goes down and you go to the floor. Okay? So I don't care how old you are, sit on the side of the bed, take a couple breaths before you stand up. That way you don't fall. Second thing in the bathroom, I've lived in this house for 50 years. I know where everything is. So there's no night lights. Okay? My mother fell because she sat on what she thought was the toilet, and she sat between the toilet and the tub because she didn't have a light on. So I don't care how old you are. I don't care. Put up lights. Okay? I want to keep you safe and your bones intact. Okay? The other thing I wanted to ask, or to kind of bring up to you, it's another home health, is hospice. Do you have to be dying to get hospice? No. Hospice is such a help to family as people are getting sick. It doesn't matter what kind of Medicare you have. Like if you have a Medicare Advantage plan or straight Medicare or whatever you have. Once you go on hospice, your straight Medicare, they pay 100%. They pay for your medications, they pay for your pads, they bring in a bed, they bring in a bedside toilet, they bring in somebody to bathe you. I mean, hospice is a very good thing. They have a chaplain, not to take the place of your pastor, but as a support. They have a social worker to help you and your family to get the support that you need. It's a horrible time. I mean, it's just a horrible time, but they make it tolerable. They make it tolerable. I live in Elgin. I've lived in Elgin since I wasn't born here, but I got here as fast as I could. We moved here in '92, and if you ever have any questions about home health or hospice, or anything that I could help you with, my office is right down on Main Street. It's right next to the nail place. It years ago, it used to be a barber shop, I guess. That's what they told me. It used to be a barber shop. The ambulance place is at the back of our. So if you ever have a question, Valerie will give you my number. I mean, I am always, my phone is my appendage. You know, Elgin is my community, and y'all are my people, you know, so if there's anything that I can do to help you or to make something easier or to answer questions, because a lot of times you don't even know that you don't even know enough to know that you have a question, you know, so it's never a problem if you need some help. I'm always glad to help. I happen to have one of my employees here who's a wonderful person, Miss Janice, and when we first started, we've been in business since 2015. When we first started, we were everywhere. We were San Marcos and Georgetown and Marble Falls and you name it. And we decided that was just insane. So we're east now. We do Manor, Bastrop, Elgin, LaGrange, Giddings, Smithville, Taylor, this side of the country. If you know anybody that needs a job, I hire good people. And do y'all have any questions? All right, that's all I got.
I want to say, y'all take care of y'all, you know, before, I really do. And I get Norfolk, and I do. I love taking care of them. And I love it.
Thank you.
And,
We started the company because we did not like the way that people treated their employees and their clients. And we figured the only way we could do something about it was to do it ourselves. So we don't intend on being a big multi-million-dollar company. That's not what we're about. We're about being a good employer and providing a good service. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, so before I release y'all to go and visit Lacey and in the back for the blood pressure screenings, I want to let y'all know tomorrow night is going to be the mental health night. It'll be from 6:30 to 8:30. We have Minister Aisha Williams coming, Dr. Crystal Lofton coming, Rachel Griffin Mahoney and Laura Wolf coming, and we have Pastor Stephen Ward speaking as well, and he's going to be teaching us how to pray. What I would say is thank you all so much for coming. I want to thank Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church for opening up to us and allowing us to do this. I think this is great and a need in the community. I'll send y'all back to Lacey, but if y'all have any questions, the speakers are all still here, so you can still ask questions before you head to the back or head out. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, 6:30. Thanks, guys.